Coffee Talk. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace. And welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. And I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba. And this is our Cultural Variety Podcast Show. How y'all doing today? Peace. Greetings. How y'all doing today? Today is May 23rd. It's a beautiful day. It's my baby's birthday, my youngest son. He just turned 9. And, you know, he's actually down here in the man cave with me right now. He just passed out over there. But it's his birthday today. And, so definitely want to give a shout out to my son, Messiah Jalil, here at Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. But other than that, how are y'all doing today? I know here in the Twin Cities, we're starting to reach 80 degrees. So we're starting to warm up, which is great. The humidity hasn't kicked in. If you know anything about Minnesota's humidity, it can get to you. But right now we got a nice breeze, 80 degrees. It's a good time if you are in transition, especially you celebrities out there. If you're coming through the Minneapolis International Airport, this is a good time to fly through and even enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Probably find you somebody that could take you out on one of our many 10,000 lakes, catch you some fish. And if you don't fish, have somebody catch it for you. You know, fry up some fish, man. Get you some hot sauce. You know how we do it, right? Yeah, welcome to the Twin Cities. The weather is definitely nice right now. But yeah, let me know how y'all feeling. And listen, I want to ask this because I haven't asked this question in quite some time. On a scale of 1 through 10, with 10 being just great, off the charts, you know what I mean? And 1 being horrible. How is your day going? What would you grade your day today? You know what I'm saying? Because here at Coffee Talk Podcast, we love to bring the humor. We like to put a smile on your face. We also love to listen to our friends and be there for our friends because in this time of mental issues and things, people are needed. So we definitely are a podcast that likes to lend a shoulder for you to lean on. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do here at Coffee Talk Podcast. And not only that, we also encourage reading, no doubt. And so that takes me into what we are going to discuss for today. Today is, what's today? Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. My bad. This is our cultural studies night. Now, typically, we don't have a Tuesday night. You know what I'm saying? We only appear 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can definitely catch us here on Facebook Live as well as YouTube. So just to give you the little spill of that. But we are a cultural variety podcast show. And Sunday, Monday, alternate nights, we like to give you culture. You know, we like to give props to our doctors, our lawyers, our scholars, our poets, our authors. We like to just give big ups to our people, our ancestors, as well as share our story. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we do on Sunday, alternate Monday nights. Wednesdays is sports night. So you're going to check us again tomorrow. We're going to be right back at you talking about, sports. But we don't really care about who won or lost. We like to give you the different intricacies that goes on behind the scenes in the world of sports. And then on Friday, Saturday night, oh, man, come on, stop by, man. We love for people to stop by, be guests, be co-hosts. We call it the grown folks social hour. Like to just come and chill. You don't want to really go out and deal with all this and that. You might want to pour yourself something, some flavor. You might want to pour you some flavor and then tune in to Coffee Talk Podcast. Now, what you pour, it don't matter to me. You can pour yourself some water, some wine, a smoothie, a cappuccino, a latte, a beer, a drink. but come on in and enjoy yourself and have a good time here at Coffee Talk Podcast, the cultural variety podcast show. All right. So if you are new to the show, let's go ahead and get it started. If you are new to the show, we never start the show without giving you some type of flavor as well as the wise words. And then we go into today's segment. So today's flavor, can I get a drum roll, y'all? Not that kind. I do it myself. No doubt. Good drum roll, right? Today's flavor here at Coffee Talk Podcast is almond milk. Almond milk. Almond milk caramel almond milk caramel latte. Why do I say that's the flavor for today? Because of the benefits that almond milk brings to you. Some of the great benefits is it's a good source of calcium. It's lactose free. It promotes healthy skin. It supports heart health, such as it reduces the risk of heart attack or heart disease. It also helps fight against obesity, as well as it fights and helps reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. So that's why we telling you, yo, this is the flavor. Go ahead and grab you some almond milk and mix that up with your caramel latte. All right, next is the wise word. The wise word comes from a brother that spends some time in the Twin Cities. Definitely left his mark on this world. He is an educator, he is a writer, and he was the 7th Secretary General of the United Nations. He was born April 18th, 1938, and he went to the Essence August 18th, 2018. So what I want to do for today with our wise words here at Coffee Talk Podcast, we want to give our props to no other than Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan. That's right. We definitely want to do that for him and give out the wise words for Kofi Annan. So just give me a second as we prepare those wise words for the great Kofi Annan. All right, we're ready. Kofi Annan said, knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, every family. Those are the wise words of our ancestor, one of our own, Kofi Annan. Yo, where did you go? Get the flavor. No other than Coffee Talk Podcast, a cultural variety podcast show. And as you can see, right now I'm in the library, man. So shh. Y'all gotta be quiet, man. I'm trying to get this kid out the library. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. If you're with me, go ahead and leave a comment, hit the like button, and let people know Coffee Talk Podcast is on. Check it out. Check it out. You can check us out on YouTube and on Facebook Live. That's right. Hey, man. I want to say this before we jump into the book. You know, your feelings change about your favorite artists. But right now, at this moment, if I had to pick 6 of the best rap groups, 6 of the best rap groups of all time, I'm going with Public Enemy, Outkast, Run DMC, NWA, Mobb Deep, and Wu-Tang. No doubt. Who are you going with? Go ahead and leave in the comments here at Coffee Talk Podcast. All right. I want to go ahead and start our reading. Today we will be opening. Well, I'm sorry. Today we will be reading chapter 7, called "The Recreation," by author and ancestor SHAHRAZAD Ali. The book is entitled "The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man." I want to say it was written around 91, 92. I'm going to show you a book. I want y'all to support our ancestors. It's kind of green, so you might not even get it, y'all. Unfortunately, you might not, but you can definitely look it up. Again, that's "The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man" by SHAHRAZAD Ali. I first came in contact with the wisdom from SHAHRAZAD Ali back in the 90s, and her popularity is rising again. And I know she doesn't care for popularity because she's a teacher. You know what I mean? She's one of our greatest scholars. But I am happy to see that. I'm happy to see women partaking in wanting to know about men more, wanting to know about themselves more, so that they can make wise. You know what I'm saying? So really, that's what it's about, man. It's about family, and you got to have a good wife. You also got to be a good husband. You also got to be able to be a good father and a good provider. You know, I mean, people like to change that word up, provider. Like if that means you just do everything, everybody said no ass. But for y'all real ones, y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, before I start the reading, let's let you know the reading can be very short. I know y'all's attention spans be, you ready to go do something. But I'm gonna tell you this: this book, man, got pages falling out. You know what I mean? Got pages falling out. So that means I'm holding the pages together to give you chapter 7. So I'm doing my part. So I just need you to do your part. Go ahead and listen with an open ear. See if anything resonates with you or somebody you know. And let's start thinking about different solutions. You ain't got to share your solutions or anything like that if you don't want to. That's not what is expected. But I want you to take from this, and this is why we bring this to you every Sunday, Monday night here at Coffee Talk Podcast. Well, middays Tuesday. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Give me a shout out too. Let me know you're with me. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know you're with me tonight. Let's begin. Chapter 7, The Recreation. Oh, I want to say this before I even get started. I know everybody's like, dang it, you're talking too much. Just get to it. I want to say this. The reason why I'm reading this chapter 7, The Recreation, the reason why I'm reading this chapter is because of all the ignorance that our people display when it comes to sports and downcasting our athletes, our people, and arguing and losing friendships and all that ignorant shit over athletes. So this is why I chose to read this chapter of SHAHRAZAD Ali's great book. Chapter 7, Recreation. The black man's brain, his entire thinking process must be systematically decontaminated. The pointless illusions upon which his whole life is based must be dismantled and replaced with other realities pertinent to his heritage and his survival. Currently, he thrives on excitement to the excess various thrills, life gambles, risks, and challenging physical tournaments of all sorts. Imagine what the black man's life would be like without sports. What would he fill the time with? What kinds of activities would he select to, to redirect all the energy formerly thrust into gaming. A life without sports is a terrifying thought to a black man. A game can be described as a timed series of physical maneuvers using reoccurring sets of motion and rules that can be exploited unexpectedly to reach the goal and or make the other player look inept. Every game is basically a challenge in dishonesty. A player must win by tricks, cunning, or diversion, with sneakiness being the major tool. The one who is able to execute these attributes the best is called the one with skill. Contrary to the description and definition, black men have been duped into thinking that recreational sports promote development of organization, fairness, endurance, cooperation, and responsibility. Sports are further defined as developing skills that will be needed throughout life in business and personal affairs. None of this is true. Additionally, sports and playing games diverts the black man's attention from more pressing matters and activities that he should be addressing. But sports are presented as such harmless fun. Even black men, when tested, would be considered a slow learner with a mild IQ, can recite verbatim points scored in a game, goal averages, rules, shirt numbers, who got traded where, the type of injuries, the tournament winners, the position titles, the playoff dates, the coaches, the names, the backgrounds of the players, including the mascots and the emblems. Discussing sports creates some of the most lively conversations black men have. The topic itself exhilarates them. It titillates their senses and promotes much gaiety. Sports are a way for them to show off their physical prowess. When they play as sports, they get to be frisky. They can frolic, romp, whirl, twirl. They revel in being able to perform all sorts of acrobatics and contortions to outwit the other players to reach the goal. They like contests where they have to tussle, scuffle, and scramble to win something. They take great pride when they win. Some of them only come to life during the sports seasons. They will sit glued to the television or radio to see or hear a game. They will stand in long lines to get tickets or sit out in the rain or the snow to see a spectator sport up close. Even if they sit so far back or up that they can barely see, they just want to be there. They will drive long distances and take an airplane or train to attend a sports event. And it doesn't matter what the tickets cost either. The merchandising of sports in America is an activity to itself. Hats, caps, t-shirts, sweatshirts, running suits, visors, flags, wrist and headbands, raincoats, license plates, posters, banners, all sorts of memorabilia are made available to black men to advertise their allegiance to their team or their choice, the team of their choice. This is part of the fun they associate with playing sports on a spectacular level. They have also been known to fall out over their different views about a certain player, sports event, or team. They even kill each other over what they deem an important point about a game. About the game. About the game. Associated with pre-game or post-game festivities is the drinking of alcohol beverages and cursing and yelling as part of the excitement. Sometimes they become so enthralled with a sport that little else matters in their lives. Sports are a welcome topic just about everywhere. This distraction is started in early childhood when sports are used as a type of rites of passage. Endurance and proficiency at playing a sport, especially basketball or football, is just about a necessity for a black boy to gain acceptance and recognition in the neighborhood group consisting of his peers. Due to their search for rights to mark crossing over up to another level or interest into adulthood, they seek out activities involving feats, stunts, collisions, regalement, sports and game, playing fists into the perceived requirements. Once a black boy or adult black man becomes athletically inclined or worships sports as a spectator, it garners much of his attention span, including concentration and energy. Y'all can talk about sports on. Black males seek a way to distinguish themselves from younger children and embark on manhood. Females have menstruations as a flashpoint at which time they are prompted by another woman about the responsibilities, expectations, and guidelines she must begin to adhere to on coming into adult womanhood. The show of blood signifies her potential to become a mother and take on even greater responsibilities in life and in the world. Black males, they seek out a show of blood by placing themselves in a potentially dangerous combat zone on the playing field where, if it is not adept, he may be injured. If he is able to inflict injury, all the better. Even if he experiences an injury, he must shake it off, continue, and survive it. The major reason for ancient African rites of passage was to extricate the son from the mother. Excuse me. This disenchantment or this disengagement took on great significance and honor. To survive such rites had a revealing and confidence building effect on the black boy. Sports in the black community are a replacement for these rites of passage and the resultant feelings of achievement of getting his energy from himself instead of his mother to survive. The study, the learning, the memorization of the rules of sports games is ongoing throughout his life in various circles. Their involvement remains paramount on various levels until the day they die. There continues to be much discussion about whether or not sports figures are representative or qualified to be male role models to black male youth. The aura of popularity and financial success surrounding sports figures makes playing sports a desirable job, which appears to only require physical agility and a unique ability to accomplish great feats, mostly involving a ball of some sort. They are supposed to represent fair play and sportsmanship, which are accepted as honorable traits in the sports industry and attributes which black men believe are transferable by playing sports or watching others do so. Despite many famous sports players displaying ruthless aggression, hostility, impatience, cheating, bad language, rudeness, and intolerance, they are still promoted by the media as being admirable and worthy of great respect. I'm just going to jump in real quick. You notice that in hockey? In hockey, two individuals can have a fight and it's looked at as honorable. But let two brothers get into a fight on the football field or on the basketball field, and it's looked at as savagery. the point there. Let's continue. Sports also gave the black man something to look forward to and serves as a ventilator for some of their frustrations. Sometimes they play a game to express certain emotions, be them positive or negative. The main sports or games black men like to play, watch, or admire are basketball, football, baseball, golf, pool, tennis, and boxing. They are the least involved with hockey. A few like fishing and hunting. Card games are also popular, such as poker, bid whiz, blackjack, gin rummy, and bridge. Bridge is the least popular because it requires such intense concentration. Black men who play chess consider themselves quite elite because it, too, requires thinking, paying attention, and remembering the rules and playing by them. Chess, unlike checkers, is about a war of sorts. It's about war of sorts. Black men who play professional sports tend to earn huge sums of money by playing the game, doing commercials to endorse products, and from personal appearances. Many make several $1,000,000 a year. All of the money is just as with the entertainers is on a deposit in European owned banks. After they become successful at playing sports, they are inducted into white social circles by virtue of their popularity. Many of them are married to white women. They become the heroes of teens and children. Many of them, after an extensive professional career, do not know when it's their time to retire. They not only get hooked on earning great sums of money, but get addicted to the accolades and the applause. So long after the abilities have mellowed and they have lost their speed and vitality, they insist on continuing to play. They also, especially in the gladiator type sports, develop a machoistic tendency to insist on being beaten to a bloody pulp, humiliated by a younger, more fertile player, and end up looking like a fool. They become blind to any other potentials they may have. It gets so deeply entwined in their lifestyles and personalities that they do not know how to bow out gracefully and transfer their energies from sports to other vocation to live normally and earn a regular living. These black men tend to mimic narcissistic trends, which require them to be consistently praised or admired for being special. This narcissism, if not perpetually endorsed by others, strangers included, becomes a personality defect because they only recognize two levels of self development. One is either champion or inferior. Since they perceived superiority is unbiblical to their playing of sports, when the sports playing ends, they slump into depression of days and nights spent reviving the previous sports accomplishment. Umbilical is the word that I was trying to say. And umbilical means that you're attached to something, such as when a child is attached to its mother. If that umbilical cord gets cut and you come into this world, you come into this world crying because now you're losing that part of your mother, which was the connection. This behavior is also exhibited by men who have held high business appointments as chief executives or head niggas in charge, as they are commonly called fondly. Black men also like to play games of chance, gambling fits with their secret dreams of striking it rich without having to work for it. Let me go play sports because then I don't got to work hard. I ain't got to be book smart. I ain't got to do none of that. I just want to go play sports because that's my way out. That's my ticket. Not being a lawyer, not being a doctor, not being a journalist, not being a teacher. Sports. It's my They spend money on a daily or weekly basis trying to hit the number or win the lottery. They go to Atlantic City and Las Vegas casinos as if making a pilgrimage. They gamble at cards, shooting dice, roulette, slot machines, or bet on horses or dogs. Gambling is the black man's stock market of sorts. So they invest large sums of money in it, hoping to propel into a big bucks. When and if they win, it often, when examined, only represents a sort of refund of the money they had already invested trying to win. Games of chance played on a local level are shooting dice or playing cards. They are seen in huddles kneeling on the ground, excitedly throwing the dice, cursing, yelling, and exchanging money. They attach an unrealistic opportunity value to cards and dice and are known to shoot, stab, beat, and kill each other over these games. They work tirelessly day after day trying to gain proficiency at shooting the dice to toss the winning combination of dots to win. It is considered fun. Recreation means to recreate something. So they play sports and games to recreate an activity that takes the place of working or learning skills to support themselves. Black men play too many games. Others, y'all don't want to work. Y'all want to be ready for when the game comes. Europeans have always enjoyed sports, especially gladiator type combats. Black men were used during slavery to provide them with these kinds of entertaining activities. Black men were featured in the Old Drum, Mandingo, and Falconhurst movies, which depicted the lives of the slave masters and the slaves in the Deep South and appeared many years ago in the docudrama type presentation. They showed white men training black men to be bare-fisted boxers, which they would bet huge sums of money on their pleasure and boast of owning the most powerful and strong Negro. Black men have always been used to provide a physical entertainment for other races because of their expert agility and body strength. Some even today, they are compensated with huge paychecks. They are still being used as agile human machines capable of spectacular competitive achievements. They no longer get patted on the head for winning. Now they get patted on the butt, hugged, and clapped for. They are fine specimens of perfect anatomy, like sleek racehorses, finely coordinated canines, expertly motorized vehicles, willing to show off for the highest bidder. Another example of his cultural amnesia. He thinks he only has brute force to make his way in the world. You ever seen them niggas that be super strong and all they want to do is act cocky and all that shit just because they got a bunch of muscles, so they try to intimidate and bully people? That's what she's talking about. Black men who play professional sports gets a lot of attention from all kinds of women. They can literally write their own ticket regarding who they want to date or sleep with. They travel from city to city, including overseas, and enjoy a bevy of female admirers wherever they go. Recently, they have become more aware of the dangers of practicing unrestrained, unprotected, random sex with multiple females. Of course, this only lasted for a short while until a discussion waned and the topic was abandoned by the media. AIDS is a very serious threat to the health of black men. in the sport and entertainment industry. Many are getting high to cope with the pressures and to keep up with such a steady flow of black earned dollars existing among black men playing sports and reaping the attached benefits. The only independent owned black bank in New York City failed to thrive in 1990 due to a financial deficit under $10 million. And not one black man in sports or entertainment came forth to make a major deposit or organize his peers into coming with the money for such a worthy cause. They have used little of their fortunes to aid failing black owned and black operated institutions and other strong black men struggle to maintain. They believe themselves to be so accepted and so valuable to the American public that they are safe from demise or any need to stay connected to blacks still struggling to survive. This does not mean that they do not donate heavily to major charities, but they are no major charity organizations independently operated by blacks, except for the United Negro College. And that is not entirely black operated because it exists by depending on donations and contributions from white philanthropy. So, what prevents black sports figures or high powered entertainers from supporting African American owned and operated ventures? The answer: the black man is disrelated, unassociated, and detached from any semblance of nationality or brotherhood with his own kind. And he is afraid that his white supporters will define any move he makes to support his own people as a sign of racism or support of black segregation. Many of them boast to the media that they do not consider themselves black or white. You ever hear that shit by Tiger Woods? They are just ball players. They are the most non political bunch of black men in America. They think they are protecting themselves from criticism and unsportsmanlike reputations. No, they do not owe other black men anything. Theoretically, they don't. But they owe it to themselves and their foreparents who suffered untold punishment to make sure future generations of black men survive. He owes it to his children to maintain a visible institution of the black man's ability and talent to be self sufficient, self governed over his own destiny. Ja Morant. And he owes it to himself to acknowledge his culture, heritage, and traditions, because a man who denies his past afflictions and rejects contact with his own kind for the purpose of social approval and financial gain is soon erased from the memory of everyone he associates with. Just how many future generations of black men will have to look at 5,000-year-old pyramids and King Tut as the only proof of black men in history who produced great things, independent of their nationality. Every other nationality residing in America builds monument institutions or maintain annual traditions that continually link them to their proud past. This is not considered racist, nor is it considered unnecessary because of integration. They are maintained for the children's benefit and to provide them with a personal foundation of ideas from which they can continue to grow and progress with the rest of the world. The black man is the only man who has decided that it is not necessary to stay in contact with his roots based on his presumption that men in other nationalities will frown upon his efforts. This doesn't make any sense for survival. Professional sports players are only another kind of entertainer who perform for the amusement of paying customers in the arena. When participating in recreation activities of the sports scene, the black man may frequently frequent dinner spots, take a trip using an airplane, stay a few days in a hotel, or park his car in a private lot. When he uses any of these public facilities, he is known to overtip. Most of them are not aware of the scale or amount to be tipped, and due to them identifying emotionally with the maid, the bellman, the bellhop, or the waiter, they will tip excessively because they don't even know how much you're supposed to tip. They also do this to impress the hired help that they are big time spenders who can afford to pass out huge tips. Other black men do not tip at all and take the attitude that they are doing enough by paying for their meal, hotel room, or other basic services. Nevertheless, he devotes a lot of energy in discovering new ways to expand his leisure time. If his work is repetitive and boring, requiring no real thought or concentration, his leisure time swells in importance. He tries to make up for his dual job by seeking exciting recreation. Television opened up a new field of entertainment for the black man, and he watched the Nat King Cole show in 1956, I Spy with Bill Cosby in 1956, and Julia starring Diane Carroll in 1968. Julia was a nurse, a divorced single parent with one son. She worked for a white physician, and nearly all of her son's life centered around around the doctor employer. While this show was considered a massive social advancement by featuring a competent, attractive, intelligent black female, Julia sent out the wrong message about black men. Her situations subliminally implied that black men messed up some kind of way and lost their woman, who were left behind to care for their children, and that the black father rarely, if ever, shows up to see his son. Entire segments were devoted to the show Julia, trying to explain to Corey why he didn't have a father. Or she was trying to fill the gap by seeking advice or aid from her doctor boss. This show set a theme for demonstrating the accomplishments of a single black woman who had her own apartment and job and who was raising her son comfortably and maintaining a fulfilled life without a black man in the home. The country was not ready to show scenes of the daily life of a regular black family, so this entity was treated as if it was non existent. Bill Cosby on I Spy was a sort of detective flick, which requires no comment. One has to see it to believe it. Nat Cole was the first black man to host a TV variety show, and he handled it with grace and dignity, and he was always dressed sharp. These days, the black man is seen on multiple television shows in all kinds of roles. This too is considered advancement and inclusion in the showbiz industry. Black men used to complain that they should be included in commercials about deodorant, mouthwash, toothpaste, soap, cosmetics, and other household products or machinery. However, the main commercials where black men are found are for beer with high alcohol content, liquor sales, soft drinks, sneakers, telephones, or cereal. This is all they allow us to have. This is all they allow us to have. Huh? You look at some of these shows, and every celebrity got some liquor. I talked about that in one of our previous podcasts. Every one of our celebrities has a liquor or some weed dispensary. We can't get no grocery store, B. We can't get no more parks created. We can't buy no farmland. We can't get a hospital. We can't buy a media conglomerate. But we can buy some liquor. We can brag about liquor. We can buy a weed dispensary, and we can't even get that. Let's continue. We're almost done, y'all. And thank you for being with us here on Cultural Studies Night as we dive in to the book by our great ancestor, Mother Queen Shahrazad Ali. Let's continue. Cable viewing is almost a norm in Black homes, as is VCR usage. Other TV shows, such as The Cosby Show, filled with delightful characters, portrays a nicely operating African family, including the grandparents. It's a good comedy, but there is never any doubt that it is the Black wife who runs the house and has the final say about what goes on. Care is taken to make sure that Claire periodically gets cliff toed. This is always turned into a joke of some sort. The Black father on the Old Good Times series, John Amos, was a stronger male figure in the home, and it was clearly understood that James, and not Florida, was in charge of the family and the home. He was the final authority. Then today comes True Colors, a sitcom with a black man husband slash father and a white wife and stepmother, including a white mother-in-law. This is a soft attempt to introduce interracial marriage by showing it as fun. Other Black men are seen in crucial or supporting roles, and they are glad to be working. A few Black men are seen in soap operas wooing white women or pretending to be white. And there's even a Black woman actress who appears routinely lying in bed with a white male co-star. Theater movies show Black men and white women irresistibly drawn together, or vice versa. Whites have appeared on television in all kinds of romantic relationships and never saw a need to present themselves as falling in love with a Black person. Yet, as soon as the Blacks infiltrate this medium, practically every other role has them romantically inclined with Caucasians instead of other Black people. This is wrong. There is only one major Black operated national television station called BET out of Washington, D.C. It's no longer Black owned. And the West Coast. BET has several shows intellectually appealing to African Americans, and they have other shows which have no redeeming social value for Blacks and are a waste of valuable airtime. BET does not have a lot of leeway on programming because they count almost entirely on white advertisers to buy commercial space to offer their products to a selective audience. A reliable, apparently conceivable looking role for the Black men actors is as a judge in the courtroom, metering out justice. One of the most ridiculous parts in when Black men are portrayed as police chiefs. This is a role where they loudly curse out and lambaste other officials, always white males. They call on they call them on the carpet and say all kinds of insulting things to them, and the white officers just take it and say, "Yes, sir." The inferior looking white subordinates cower down. They take their punishment and leave their tails tucked between their legs. Not likely. Purportedly, this is supposed to demonstrate a black man in a supervisory position making big decisions and talking really bad to white men. It is contrived and weak. Last page, y'all. But there are all sorts of sports, or there are all sorts of spots in law enforcement departments that let other black men get off vicariously by letting off a little steam by seeing a black man talk to a white man the way they themselves have always wanted to do. The subliminary message is absorbed greedily, and black men seeing this type of scene enjoy working one of their own kind and enjoy watching, I'm sorry, and enjoy watching one of their own kind put the white man in check. There's an entire new crop of black men actors invading Hollywood in New York, accepting all kinds of crazy parts just to break into the industry. They repeatedly complain that white writers are not designing enough meaty or realistic parts for black actors. They should just try out for parts in their own black written and black directed films. Make your own films. Make your own films. Make your own films. Respect to Tyler Perry, Spike Lee, some others. But every time we want to do something to seek out some white people who are already established doing it and try to squeeze in among them and benefit from what they have going, as much as African Americans frequent movie houses, they see every movie that hits the screen. There is only one African American owned independent movie theater in the entire country, and it's located in California. Magic Johnson, I think Shaq got one in New Jersey now. Black men ought to operate a movie house in every city since blacks go to the movies often to mentally escape their lives for an hour. Last paragraph. On final note, black men who participate in games of sport and play and achieve acclaim as the winner always thanks their mothers. They rarely thank their fathers for helping them accomplish anything. In this society, the mother is always referred to in honorable situations, and the father, who the black man is separated from is not mentioned. After thanking his mother, they thank Jesus for their winnings. What's your thoughts on tonight's show? Let me know. Definitely leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. What did you gather out of that chapter titled Recreation by author, scholar, writer, and one of our greatest ancestors, Shahrazad Ali? Please continue to support her as well. Make sure you get her books. What is your thoughts on the show tonight? What is your thoughts on that? We allow sports to come in between us. We hate those that achieve in sports. We hate our own kind. And every week they find a new nigga to plaster along the sports scene that you can talk about. Or the ignorant fan comes out and they come out with a lot of excuses to defend ignorance, such as the case with Ja Morant. I heard so many people defending that shit. And as a man and as a father, I'm saying, boy, you need to accept your accountability. You fucked up. Excuse my child. Well, my son is starting to wake up, so I gotta go. I would like to go ahead and thank you all for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show. May you all have gathered and got you a little bit of flavor tonight. This is what we bring, man. 3 days a week, Sunday, Monday, alternate nights, cultural studies night. Tonight we're doing it on Tuesday because we did miss yesterday. And then Wednesday. Wednesday is our sports night. Again, it's not a typical sports show. We don't care about who won or lost. We like to talk about the different intricacies that goes on behind the scene in the world of sports involves us, our people, our athletes. You dig? And then Friday and Saturday, that's our chill night. We call that grown folk social hour. We like to laugh, have fun, play 10-question Q&A, have guests pop up, and we just like to have a good time for those that like to go ahead and stay in the house during the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So remember to stop by, check us out, Coffee Talk Podcast. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I am your host, Mashum Saba, M. Saba. You already know what it is. It's a cultural variety podcast. So I'm gonna hit y'all with the universal peace sign. Thank you for supporting the show. We gone, man.